What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Derek.
And I'm Kevin.
And we're last week's album. We're talking about good music. And this week, we're talking about When the Cellar Children See the Light of Day by Mirel Wagner. But before we start talking about seeing the light of day, we're going to start things off like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, Kevin.
Cheers, Derek, and everyone watching at home.
All right, so Mirel Wagner is a Helsinki-based singer-songwriter. Although she's originally from Ethiopia, she left there when she was adopted at age 1.5, and so she really identifies herself as a Finn. And When the Cellar Children See the Light of Day is her second full-length album and follows her self-titled release back in 2012, which Kevin actually wrote about when we were back writing about these things. So here we go again, kind of second time around on this artist. And fun fact, this album was produced by primarily a electronica or dance artist, so that'll make things interesting here. So, Kevin, what do you think When the Cellar Children See the Light of Day sounds like?
Derek, I thought this album sounds like an AM radio accidentally broadcasting acoustic blues from the other side.
All right,
sounds like,
I like that ties into mine. I think this sounds like Mirel Wagner channeling the ghosts of folklore past, Bessie Smith and Nick Drake, told through poignantly poignant lyrics. So obviously there's a lot kind of underneath the surface here, as our sounds like clearly alludes to. Kevin, what were your key tracks?
Derek, I went with all tree-based tracks. First, oak tree, and secondly, taller than tall trees. What were your key tracks?
Kevin, I just want to say how arborous of you. Arborous. That may or may not be a word. Probably not. But my key tracks is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first one. And the second one is This What Love Looks Like. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is actually the album opener, so I'll start there. There's a rumbling acoustic guitar riff, which is contrasted with Wagner's vulnerable vocals, which carry a really playful melody. And this really kind of carries to the lyrics, which many of the lines start off with this counting 1, 2, 3, 4, which combined with this playful vocal melody really brings to mind kind of a children's playground song or chant, if you will, which is in a stark contrast to the actual lyrical content, which is anything but child appropriate. Here she really hints at something sinister hiding beneath the floor, and then at the end, in this elongated outro, she kind of repeats, "I got a big, big heart and lots of love, and it's hard, and it's hard." So it's just she really kind of brings together this one idea and then completely tears that down with this other line. I thought it just really set the stage well for this album, not only from a sound perspective, but also from the strong lyrical content she has.
Yeah, I agree. Great starting track there. And as you mentioned, lyrics are one of her strong points, which we'll get into a little bit more. My first key track, however, is Oak Tree. It has this really sort of a galloping guitar rhythm, these very haunting, sort of ethereal, echoing backup vocals, which are really nice. The lead vocals themselves talk about sleep and dreams, although in the most final sense of the word. And overall, it might have just been the words saying dream over and over and with these echoes going, but it almost reminded me of the Everly Brothers, All I Have to Do Is Dream, in a much more like stripped down, sort of twisted way. But again, I think that speaks to, this might be the most melodic song on the album, at least for me, especially that verse there about dream, dream, dream. So that's why I dug it. Tell us more about your other key track, Derek.
Kevin, I really like that. That song also brought to mind for me that Everly Brothers song, except it had more of a nightmarish tone to it, if you will. Not that that's a bad thing. But my next key track is What Love Looks Like. It's carried by this even metered acoustic guitar riff, and once again, the lyrics are really take center stage here. And I thought the lyrics were very introspective, which I thought was very interesting because when you think about love, especially in a music or song context, it's really kind of an external type thing. You talk about love or affection for someone else. However, here she's really taking an introspective look and really, kind of tearing down some of the walls or barriers that she or anyone kind of puts up. There was one of the many great lyrics here that I thought kind of illustrated this point. She says, "Through thick and thin, that's what they say. Forgive and forget. Well, it's me that has to change. Is this what love looks like?" So right off the bat, it's really kind of the title really kind of implies one thing, or at least from our general concepts of listen to songs about love, but then completely twists on its head. Just really kind of great questions she asked here.
Yeah, I also really liked the way she treated those syllables in that song. That love looks like, she hits the K really hard, which with those lyrical sort of soft words, when you hit that hard-hitting end of the syllable, I don't know, it's just kind of really cool effect she put on it with her vocals. But my next key track was Taller Than Tall Trees, not to be confused with Oak Tree, which I think is kind of ironic. I dug the tree songs. You think of tree as a symbol of life, and a lot of times she's talking about death. But that's just what I ended up digging here. This song in particular had these very hard-strummed chords, pleading lyrics of, I think, what is unrequited love. You have this building instrumental middle section of the song that, that then drops down to this really quiet portion. And overall, it's just this sort of eerie love tale. She says, "I want to lay down with you." Does that mean sex? Does that mean death? Is the man here a man or the devil? We're not really sure. With Wagner, you never really can tell. And that sort of dark ambiguity is one of her core strengths, and really comes to light here in this song. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head here. And that brings us to Best Lyric. Kevin, obviously there were many to pick from. What did you have, though?
Yeah, there were a lot to pick from. But here I chose one from Ellipsis, where she says, "You're laughing the loudest, but your smile don't reach your eyes." We've all heard the phrase smiling from ear to ear, but to think of someone smiling without seeing that smile in their eyes is just this really fake smile, but this really short, succinct, efficient line on describing that. And that's one thing she's really good at, using very choice words, very short phrases, but very, very efficiently and with full of meaning. So I thought that line encapsulated that for me. What was your best lyric, Darren?
Mine really kind of follows a lot of the thing you kind of mentioned there. Mine comes from What Love Looks Like, and which I discussed earlier, but here was my favorite line from that song. "My body is frail, my soul is stained. All good things will be washed away." And once again, she's really kind of taking that theme of, nothing gold can last, which, has been, it's a tried and true type thing to go on, but she really kind of changes it here, not only in the specific context of that line, but then, just kind of bringing it overall to the overall song where, what love looks like, and then, kind of taking an introspective look at that. Just really good line, and exactly as you said, she really takes some ideas that are very common or, everyone can identify with, and then really kind of twists them into very unique, specific, new ways, I think you could say. So overall rating, Kevin, when the kids finally come out of the cellar and they see the light, what is the rating that they're giving that light?
Well, this child in particular is giving this album a rating of 3 out of 5. I think Mirel Wagner definitely has a unique sound. It's also definitely an acquired sound. This is not an album that you can put on just any time of day. I think you have to be in the right sort of mindset and headspace. It's very stark and haunting and barren. But those are really good things. That gives her a really unique signature style. I thought working with this new dance producer, she doesn't change things up too much. Adds a little cello on one track, a little electric guitar on one track, but overall it's still the same goodness from her first debut. And I think she's just kind of slowly, steadily building her repertoire, which makes sense given her style of music, this sort of slow, steady, plodding style. So thought she improved, but yeah, 3 out of 5. What do you think, Derek?
Kevin, I'm going slightly above your grade. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I think you're exactly right. Acquired taste is a good term. As we kind of described here, it is dark at times. It not only does she ask questions, but it'll leave you asking questions. The answers to which you may or may not like, but that's on you. So I think you're exactly right. You see glimpses of really powerful stuff here, especially from her lyrics. And I think the more she kind of opens up her sound will, not only, I think it'll just benefit her as a whole. I mean, obviously she's doing something very well, very unique, but the more she can kind of expand on that and kind of make it her own, I think she's, could really take off. So there you have it, a 3 out of 5 from Kevin and a 4 out of 5 for myself. For Mirel Wagner's When the Cellar Children See the Light of Day. So go check it out. Make sure you let this one see the light of day in your ears, if that's a thing. And once you get done doing that, don't forget to come back next week and join us again here at last week's album. We're talking about good music. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook, and all this, that, and the other. Until the next time, we'll talk to y'all later. I'm Derek.
And I'm Kevin. Cheers, guys.